continuing our exploration of the basics of Eclipse and the Java programs. So in previous versions, we created our first little application where we asked for a favorite color and we printed it out, and we did a couple different print commands. So we're going to continue this, and we're going to work with the concept of classes and objects. So we're going to keep working in the same workspace that we've already created. And give Eclipse a second to open up here. And we are going to create another new project. So this is where we left off. Eclipse is keeping track of which files we have open. So I'm going to go ahead and close both of these tabs here. If you notice on the right hand side we have, or left hand side, we have our week 1 project we already created over there. So what I want to do is I want to add in another package. So if I expand out source, you'll see we have our first package there. And what I want to do is create another, actually let's create another project. So let's go ahead and do File, New. We're going to come across here and we're going to find Java project, which doesn't exist. So we're just going to pick our default project. We're going to find that Java project icon. So as we mentioned before, it's either at the top or inside the Java folder. Doesn't make a difference which one. And this one we're going to create a project called Classes. And let's go ahead and add in week 1 at the beginning of it. So we're still working on week 1, but now we're going to work on the classes piece of it. So week 1 dash classes, everything should have been stayed the same. So there's our Java 8 still there. We can go ahead and finish that off. And there's our week 1 classes folder or project. If we expand it out, we see our 2 folders. Our first one has all the different class projects, which we're not going to do anything with. And then down below there, we have nothing in our source folder. So let's go ahead and create a class file in source. So new class. We're going to stick with the same package we've been working on, CST105N.week1.d1. So CST105N week1 d1, so same package. And this class one is going to be called start, capital S on start. Go ahead and click finish. And there's that first class we have created. Let's see how good your memory is. There is a method that all Java programs start with, and that one is public static void main with the capital S string args close the parenthesis and then open and closing on my braces. So there's my first class here. Let's make sure everything works good. System.out.println and say got here. Just make sure everything's working before we go very far. I don't have any red X's down the left hand side, no red in the middle, and no red down the right hand side. If I run it, it should print out got here. Everything looks good. Okay, so this right now is one class file. And this class file is one of what could have many classes in here. So what I want to do is I want to start playing around with additional classes. Inside this package that we created that has the start class, I want to right click and I want to make another new class. And this one's going to be practice. So I still have my package. I still have a capital letter on practice, so I'm going to go ahead and put the word practice in there, all uppercase. Not going to change anything else, and I'm going to go ahead and click finish. Notice now I have 2 classes inside of my package here. I only need one file to have my main in there, so I don't need to add that public static void main to my practice class. But what I want to do here is I want to create a static method. So we're going to create public static, and we have to give it a name. Sorry about that. And we'll say, let's do this. Just like public static void main, has keywords and method names. This one, actually, I guess I missed something. Public static void do this. So do this is a name that I made up. This just happens to be a method name. So the one that's in start, this one has to be called main, but I can make as many as I want that do not have this particular signature line up here. And in fact, public static void, and we'll talk about all these different modifiers in future lessons, but this method do this does not take any parameters inside of my parentheses. You'll notice that start does have some parameters, string, square bracket, args. But this one's a very simple one. Public static void do this. And inside here, we're going to do a system out, print line, and we're going to say in this do this. So we're just going to say we got to this particular one. So this is just text. I can type whatever I want inside of it, but the rest of the syntax is the same. System out, print line, open and closing parentheses, single or double quotes, and then some kind of text inside of there. So now that I have this class and this class all in the same package, they can talk back and forth to each other. But how do I have start reference this particular method? So in start, I'm going to tell it what class contains that static method, which is called practice. And Eclipse is going to pop up, okay, you gave me the practice class. Here's all the different things you can do with it. Well, there's really only one thing I can do with it. We're not going to worry about this class one here, but there's the do this that we just created. I'm going to go ahead and click that. Now what's going to happen is when I run this particular project here, it's going to look in both of these classes trying to find this main method. When it finds the main method, it's going to start executing line by line what's going on. In this case, it's going to print out got here. Then it's going to go to this line going, oh, you want to do something from the practice class. So I'm going to go to the practice class and I'm going to look for something that looks like do this. It jumps over to the practice class and goes, okay, I found do this, and you want me to print out in this do this method. When I'm done with it, I'm going to go back to the start class and I'm going to continue the next line. In this case, nothing is going on. So that would be the end of the application. So let me go ahead and save both of these. Make sure you save both of the classes. And here's one of the things that's very important when I start having multiple classes. When I run this, I need to run the class that contains the main method. I cannot run it from practice. And in fact, if I go to practice and try to run it, it's going to give me an error. Well, it normally gives me an error in that case, so I'm not sure why it didn't give me an error, but that's good to know. Okay, so good. You might run into an error at some point if you try to run the wrong class. But what's happening here is when I run this, it goes to got here from my start, and then it comes to in this do this from my practice class, and then goes back to my start to finish it off. So it came into start here. It ran this line. Then it went to the practice class to run do this said print out this line. And then when it got done, it went back over here and everything's good. So I think everything's good on this particular case. So with that, we'll wrap up this lesson and we'll continue with these multiple classes in the next video. Thank you very much.